Welcome everyone to the Drip and Geeb podcast. I'm your host, Uncle Geeb, and with me is host Drip Media Gaming and special guest Cheezy64. We do a podcast live every week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can listen to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Cheezy is our guest this week, guys. Cheezy, how you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. I wasn't gonna say anything, but you did mess up on the intro. Like what Drew was saying.
I was definitely going to say something, so don't worry.
It was good, though. It was good, man.
Yeah.
It was good. One little slip up. You did okay.
Yeah, I was going to... Drip got me all worked up before we started the podcast, and
that's what I'm here for.
That is why I didn't mess it up because I'm lacking a skill. I messed it up because Drip worked me up. I'm sorry. But
you did fine. You did fine. I'm sorry.
That was the trial run of our new AI generated intro, which if you guys were caught off guard with that, if you're longtime listeners, we're changing the music. It's been the same music since episode 1. Actually 0. Actually, that's not true either. I don't know exactly.
No, we changed it.
Yeah, when did we intro them? Like, I don't even know when we had music to begin with.
Hell, I don't know.
But it's been a very long time. It's been a very long time with that same track, and we changed it up because last week, if you guys didn't know, weren't in the pre-show or post-show last week, Matt Moran, friend of ours, made us an AI-generated song, like theme song for us, and it was so good that Drip and I decided to like kind of edit it, splice it up and turn it into like an actual usable intro for the show. And I think it kind of rocks. It's a little dubsteppy. It's a little dubsteppy. I like it.
And then afterwards, after we got off the internet, we stayed in Discord, and basically Moran and Geeb and I just basically wrote a whole album. No big deal. I mean,
we did a lot last week.
We have lots of songs about Bush Light Peach.
Yes, we do.
Mountaineer football.
We need to get that on the board too, Drip, because when we do the beer of the week, we can play the Bush Peach song.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that is a good one.
Anyway, we're doing a podcast tonight. We're talking about Luigi's Mansion and GameCube rumors, but first, Cheezy, you're our guest. First time on the show is a solo guest.
Yeah.
-1. Forget John Ebo. He doesn't matter tonight. You're the star.
Seriously, I don't know who Samantha West is, but said don't cancel Drip. He's great. Cancel Johnny instead, and I approve this message.
not a bad message. Not a bad one.
Yeah.
But yeah. So and Drip, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Had a wonderful week, and I do want to say something. Cheesy. Mm-hmm. You're so much cooler than Geeb, and I want to tell you why. Because do you know what he did on Saturday? If you guys don't know, we were actually no. I'm talking to the people. You know what you did. You were a good friend on Saturday, is what you were. For those of you who don't know, Geeb and I were on the Communication Error podcast. What was that, last week?
Yeah, it was last week. We
were talking about sports games, and I kept bringing everything back to like NASCAR. That's kind of my sport. It's what I know. Cheezy was asking me some questions, like, tell me about a little bit of this. I gave him a little spiel about it, and then you know what he did? He was messaging me Saturday, watching the race, trying to learn about it, not making fun of me for it, like some other people. Interested, wanting to learn, and had a great time, didn't you? You loved it, didn't you?
It was pretty fun. I will admit, I'll give credit where credit is due. Johnny was the one that asked the question about, like, why should I get into NASCAR? Like, what is the point of NASCAR?
Oh, yeah, well.
But he didn't watch it.
He didn't watch it. He didn't watch it. And so he was even in the chat with us.
But didn't want to learn.
Right.
Yeah. Which is a big problem with today's society. Everybody wants to ask questions, but they don't want to learn.
That's right. It's true. It is true.
Yeah.
I've been desperately here trying to find, sorry for looking at my phone, but I'm trying to find this sound clip that I sent Drip like a while ago.
The NASCAR thing?
Yeah, I'm really trying to find. I found it! Here we go. Okay, get it ready, guys. I think you guys should hear it too.
I started drinking at 6 a.m. Them cars be going real fast and left. They be going real fast and left.
Yes, those cars be going real fast and left. No, I'm not a hater. Listen, I'm not. Go ahead, Cheezy.
It wasn't this week, right? Like, were they going left the whole time? Because they were racing
not. No, they were racing downtown Chicago. Not going left. They were going left, right, up, down. It was great. Across bridges, even.
I think what helped, because like my grandpa is super into NASCAR, has been for years, builds hot rods from the ground up. But I just never got into it. But I think what helped is knowing like somebody that you were rooting for that I could also be excited to root for. But then you were also kind of calling it play by play and what was going to happen. And that is what happened. Like, that was amazing.
I mean, I know these things, you know. What can I say? I know these things.
Drip.
Yeah.
I know we're having an argument right now, and we'll get over it eventually. But give me credit where credit is due. I've been trying to learn NASCAR from you since I met you.
I'm just giving you shit. Giving you shit.
And by the way, I would have watched it on Saturday, and I will say I didn't watch it.
You had a party, right?
Yeah, I had a party at the house. We had a barbecue, had some burgers. Ivy's dad made some ribs. We had hot dogs, all the stuff that you have at a barbecue. So it was on in the TV, but I was outside, clowning around with our friends. But yeah, so I didn't actually get to watch it. And Sunday, admittedly, I didn't watch it either. But also, it was raining Sunday here in Chicago, and also, not in Chicago, I'm in Illinois, but in Chicago, it was also raining, and I was like, oh yeah, they're probably not racing right now anyway because of the rain. So they still
race. They have rain tires now. They don't stop.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get off of NASCAR. Although Drip, they turn left, they go real fast. Let's talk about something way more interesting. If you guys did, as of recording, it is July 10th. So if you woke up this morning, like Drip and I do, I'm not sure Cheezy either, but to Nintendo tweets, we got a tweet this morning, and I clicked on it because I'm like, what, Emio? Mm-hmm. What is this? And we click on the tweet, and it's just this really eerie, creepy music, and this man who's wearing a bag on his head. And at one point has like teeth, and it's like there we go. It's like the creepiest thing I've ever seen. No, actually, that's not true. I've seen creepy things. I've seen Drip's hair in the morning, but it's like the creepiest thing I've ever seen. It really freaked me out, but also in like a good way. It was like really entertaining, and I'm like, what? And all it says is like Emio and Nintendo Switch. There's no information. I just want to kind of get your guys' thoughts about like what we saw this morning.
Just count me out, dude. No. It's scary shit. I don't want anything to do with that. No, I don't want no scary shit. No.
He's a baby. I'm trying to tell you, he's a baby.
No. But this is kind of how I feel as well, because I was never like a big fan of horror anything until Jordan Peele started making horror films, and I was like, Jordan Peele from like Key and Peele, like the comedian, like I gotta check this out. And then I loved it just because of who was behind it and what they were able to create.
I actually did watch Nope.
Oh, you did? What did you think of it?
I did watch that. It was scary as fuck.
Yeah.
I was terrified.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
It's really scary.
I don't know. If Nintendo is making a horror game, like, I feel like I got to check it out. Like, I got to see what this is about. Like, what can they do? What can the family, like, children company do with a horror game? And wait, hold up, will it be at Universal Studios Horror Nights?
Oh yeah, that's true.
1 year, like, could that happen?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, they have a whole nother part of that park where the Nintendo area is. That's like a whole horror land. They could just add it in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very strange because when I saw it, I was like, okay, it's just a game that's going on the Switch, but then it's like, okay, there's no publisher, there's no nothing. Like this is from Nintendo. It's got to be, right?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Very strange.
Especially if we don't. There's very little information. So when we get more information, we will share it with you guys. But as of now, we assume it's from Nintendo. But the only other piece of information we saw was its rating. Its rating was mature, 17 and up, which is, I think, the only Nintendo first party game, if it ends up being that has a mature rating. Can you guys think of any other mature rating game from Nintendo?
I don't think there is one.
What was Fatal Frame?
I don't know.
And is that Nintendo?
I don't know if that was. It's on Nintendo.
Bayonetta is a good point from Johnny in the chat. Bayonetta might be. Hold on. I have
Bayonetta 3 probably for sure. 2 probably actually as well.
Have the disc over here. What is it? Yep, there we go. So it is is this technically first party or is it just published?
No, well,
it's platinum.
It's platinum, so I mean,
so does it count? Does it count
it's
as
a Nintendo
mature rating?
exclusive, but it's not really made by Nintendo.
It's kind of like Pokemon in that sense.
But that's what this could be too. This could be a game from a different studio that's just. Why did my TV just turn off? Oh, it's back on. This could be a game from a different studio that's just a Nintendo exclusive. Could be that.
If this is from Nintendo's own studios and is published by Nintendo, I would believe it to be the first one that is mature, which is really weird and creepy, and I love it. I love every second of it. I don't really watch horror movies either, but I'm not against them. I'm not like, oh, like they're too scary. I don't do that either. On occasion I'll watch them. For me, like fake horror, like horror movies, and it doesn't freak me out. What freaks me out is real life stuff. I'm like too much of like a realist. Like when I see like, oh God, the movie about the IRS coming to my door to throw me in jail, that stuff freaks me out. Like that's scary to me. Not in the same sense as a horror movie, but I don't get freaked out by that kind of stuff. I just don't.
Like Strangers is probably one of the scariest horror films because that could actually happen. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. But it's just basically like these 3 people that go and
with the masks.
Yeah, they just go and terrorize this like babysitter or whatever, and then at the end it's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to us? And they said, because you were home. Like that was it. That's scary. That is I don't want
is scary.
that to
All
ever
of it's
happen.
scary. I don't need any of that.
So like what could the gameplay be? Like what do we think is going to happen in this game?
Man, I have nothing. There's nothing to go off.
I have no clue.
I think there's those like mystery games that they put out. What is it called? Like it's the girl who wears dress or something. Like what are those games called? I have my Switch here. I could try to find it. Do you have any idea of like what this gameplay could look like?
I have no idea. I mean, we didn't even there's not anything to go off of.
Yeah.
It's a guy with a bag on his head, and I don't know. It's lit very scary. I don't know. I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna play the thing anyway. It doesn't matter. This is not coming in my house.
I can't find the game.
If for any reason I have to play it, I'll play it outside on the porch at noon only. That's it.
You're such a baby.
For like 20 minutes, and then put it away.
No wonder you're a Nintendo homer. You like baby games because you're a baby.
That's it, man. It's baby games. Don't give me anything scary.
I can't find the game I was looking for, but it's like the girl who it's a game that comes in 2 all the time. There's 2 of them and they're very similar. They came originally on the Famicom. I don't know what they're called, but I don't know, that kind of style gameplay where it's like murder mystery is what those games are. So maybe it's some sort of like murder mystery style game where like it's just kind of, I don't think it's gonna be like walking through the halls and jump scares. Like I don't think it's gonna be anything like that, but who knows?
If it's M.
Thank you, Sims. No, Famicom Detective. That's what they're called.
Oh, okay. Man, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking kind of what you were saying. Like, is Nintendo going to play it safe with like a safe M rating, or are they going to go all out?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's interesting.
I think we'll know more once we know if this is actually from Nintendo or if this is just a third-party game that's just an exclusive to the Switch.
And also,
I think that's going to tell a lot more.
What was the point of tweeting it out today? If they didn't want to show it in the direct, I get that. Like, there was already an age restriction on the trailer itself. Yeah. But is this coming out near spooky time? Like, that's still 3 months away from it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. More questions than answers, really. Honestly. It didn't show us much. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the other. Unless this game's first party, this is the scariest game Nintendo has. Spooky Luigi's Mansion and the whole series of games there. Drip and I did not cover the release of Luigi's Mansions 2 because we don't have it. Drip and I weren't crazy interested. Obviously funds are a factor as well, but pretty much weren't really that into the idea of playing it. I don't know, man. Cheezy did play it though, and we kind of want to hear some cheesy thoughts, some thoughts from Cheezy about his playthrough of it. But first, I'm going to talk about a little bit of the reviews because I found some reviews today, mostly the Metacritic ones, and they're all pretty actually good reviews. I don't think there's anything bad per se in these Metacritics. I think So Luigi's Mansions 2 has. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep saying Luigi's Mansions. I can't stop saying it with the double S there.
Multiple mansions.
Yes.
He's fucking balling.
Technically, for the second one, that is true.
Luigi's Mansions.
Yeah.
2.
Luigi's Mansions. Yes. Sorry for the broken camera too, by the way, down there. I can't fix that right now. But so the Metacritic score for Luigi's Mansions 2, I can't stop saying it other than that. It is a 77 generally favored score. And the user score is 7.8, so like a 78. So that's actually pretty decent. And if you look at the original Luigi's Mansion, I said it right that time. That had a 74 apparently, which kind of no, that's a 3DS version. I tried to get what is the version on 3DS Dark Moon. No. The port of the original Luigi's Mansion on the 3DS had a 74. What was the GameCube version? All GameCube. That was a 78. So that's actually a lot lower than I thought, because I know it's a very well liked game. I thought, at least, but apparently not as much as I thought. So I'm kind of confused about that. I mean, there's a lot of 90s in there. I don't know. I have to do some more research as far as like how that game's in particular. But Luigi's Mansion 3, that did really, really well. That had an 86 critic score, 8.4 user score.
Luigi's Mansion 3 is one of the best games on the Switch.
Right, and I think a lot of people back that up for sure, and these scores kind of back it up as well. But I want to focus on the scores for 2. Again, 77 from critics, 7.8 from users, and I know when the game came out, there was a lot of reviews that were kind of mixed. Some were good, some were bad. Nothing bad. When I say bad, I think I was like some 5s. Some like needs work. But nothing like bad. So it's relative bad. It's nothing terrible. But it wasn't overly favorable, especially when you're coming off of on the Switch here. Luigi's Mansion 3, that was fantastic, and it got reviewed well. The mix and a lot, even some of the better scores out there. I think Nintendo Life had they scored 8.10, I want to say, in their video review, and that even that was like, honestly, I feel like they just kind of lied. I feel like the review is more like a 6, but they gave it an 8. Because like they're like, well, it needs some polish, and I can't remember exactly what was all said, but I remember them just when the review came out on release day, actually a little bit before release day, it was just kind of like meh.
He said it doesn't look good.
Yeah,
right? They said it didn't really look that great.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were saying that. They said it looked like a 3DS game, and a good point was brought up too. Like 3DS games, especially for a game that's so dark, like the series of Luigi's Mansion, on a 3DS screen, they were low resolution and they're just kind of dim to begin with. So that game was kind of more bright than its other 2 counterparts, so you could see it on the screen better. And I think that kind of followed it to the Switch. At least that DNA, they did change the graphics quite a bit, I think, in a good way. I don't know, guys. Well, Cheezy, you played the whole game? Let me shut the hell up now. Cheezy, you played the whole game. What do you think?
Yeah, so just a question first. Like, have we had a 3DS remake on the Switch, or is this the first one?
Well,
not, but a first
they
party.
They brought over Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Evolution.
I would say it's Worlds.
No, not Worlds. No? What was the one? No, it was a 3DS game.
Generations.
I knew it was something like that. Evolutions, Generations, something. Monster Hunter Generations. They brought over. It actually, I mean, it looked actually really good compared to the 3DS version. You can still tell it was a 3DS game, but it was impressive how good they got it looking.
Well, the only reason I'm bringing that up is like I wonder how much the 3D like feature actually gets in the way of porting that over, or like the initial developed game that had the 3D option, like that was what it was made for. So when you take that away, is that hurting the game, or is that just an excuse as to...
I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that even the 3DS games and stuff, when they're developing them, they're actually developing them at a higher resolution and then bring them down to go on. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how they do it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I could be totally wrong, but I do believe I've heard that.
So I had a tweet that I think kind of sums up Luigi's Mansion 2, which originally was Dark Moon for people in North America, and then they switched it to 2, which I think is probably the better title, especially how successful this series is. but I made a tweet saying Luigi's Mansion 2 really makes you appreciate how good Luigi's Mansion 3 is and how exciting Luigi's Mansion 4 will be. Because Luigi's Mansion 2 is, in my opinion, not the greatest in the series. There is missions that they kind of break up the levels into, and that is really annoying, especially when EGAD talks so much and you just want to keep playing the game and keep exploring. But they're like split up into different missions, so it could take like 20 to 30 minutes to finish a mission, and then they kick you back out, and then you go back into that mansion again. And like, if you can get past all of that, it still is a good game and very different from Luigi's Mansion 1. Like Luigi's Mansion 1, I think, was the closest that we were going to get to Nintendo horror, because even though like the ghosts still looked kind of cartoony, they were humans. And and I'm still very curious as to why they changed up the design of the ghosts in 1 to 2. If it was like they got complaints the kids were scared of it.
I'm sure it's to probably make it a little less scary, because we're still talking about Mario here. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it was also cool because it was like, no, this is a Luigi game. Like, this is different. Yeah. And then they kind of brought it back. Yeah. I enjoy Luigi's Mansion 2 for what it is. It is not the greatest. And I'm okay with the 8s, but I probably would give it like a 7, maybe. It still is fun. Like, they added the strobe bulb, and sometimes you need that to either capture booze, or there were like paintings on the wall where there was like a key, and so you use this like flashlight that has, I don't even know how you explain it, but it's like a magical flashlight, and if you use it on the paintings, then those paintings come to life, and that's how you get a key. Yeah. Polterpup is new. I mean, it's a ghost dog. That's already like, you get points for that, you know? Luigi's Mansion 3. Now, the only critique that I have of Luigi's Mansion 3, which I don't think a lot of people talk about, that title is wrong. It is not a mansion. Yeah, it is. It's not a mansion. It's a hotel.
So even though that game is great, it's very confusing. I don't understand.
Definitely Luigi's Luxury Hotel.
You're talking about 3, correct?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, it's a hotel. But that's actually one of the things. As a first time Luigi's Mansion player, when I played 3, that was kind of confusing to me. I'm like, but this is a hotel. Like, where's the? I can see what they mean though, because it's a luxurious hotel that reminds you of like an old mansion that's turned into a hotel. I get that vibe for sure. I mean, I definitely see it. Like it reminds me of like an old mansion from like the Clue movie or something. You know what I mean? Like from like I got that vibe. So they succeeded in making it like a mansion, but the whole point of it is it's a hotel. It's definitely a hotel. So that was confusing me. Like what were they thinking there? Like, I don't really understand, but
I mean, it goes with the storyline. The lady, tricked him to come to the hotel so she could.
It could have been anything. That's the thing. But that's the thing. It could have been
a house. It could have been a house.
Yeah, I know.
It could have been a really tall house.
The story is not what's important here necessarily.
It doesn't matter. That's the best one. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's great. Luigi's Mansion 3 is amazing. It's so good. Every single level of that hotel. Like, I get bored with games, I mean, I play, and if they're doing the same thing over and over and over, I fall out of, I just don't care anymore. It's like, I've done this, It's like a lot of games do that. You go to a different place, but you're doing like the same thing. That game, every single level of that mansion was completely different. I mean, yeah, you're using the same general mechanics, but they were so much different, and the little storylines that were going on, it was so good. And if you're keeping my attention like that through a full game, like you're doing very well at that point.
Yeah. I'm not like a big lover of the series. And before we actually kind of move on to the next topic within Luigi's Mansion, any final thoughts here, Cheezy? At the end, you've played all 3, and although it's been a very long time since you played the GameCube version of Luigi's Mansion, where does it kind of rank on your Luigi's Mansion's list?
The second one?
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely 3rd, as in like not the greatest. but I want to play 1 again, and I'm curious if they're going to bring 1 to Switch or if they are not going to. Like, I don't.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
They should have bundled it, but again, I think it's the design of the like human ghosts that they're afraid of or something, or
and then they put out this trailer of Emio today, but they're afraid of human looking ghosts.
Yeah. It's just weird that, you know, we didn't get both of them, or maybe they are kind of remaking it in the background. I don't know, but I'm just happy with where the series is going. I've talked about it before, but I would love to see Luigi's Mansion at Universal Studios during Horror Nights. Like, that could be the kids section of Horror Nights if they wanted to have one, like a fun house.
That would be cool.
That'd be really fun. Like open up some drawers and then some dust pops out with like a bling, like a spring operated thing. Like, that'd be real fun.
Also, just money. Like, kids are just winning money.
Just giant gold coins. Just
Like there's like vents, and then the
cash,
money comes out of the vent.
dollar bills.
Dollar bills. Yeah.
But they got to do something with, like, integrate it with the app, the same way that you use it when you're at Super Nintendo World and like hitting the question blocks. Like, I think that they would do something. Where it's like
a good idea.
Own thing.
It's a great idea.
Well, Cheezy, you bring up a really good point about, you know, when they're gonna when are they gonna bring 1 to Switch? And that's kind of the next thing I want to bring up here is there's a lot of games that need porting to the Switch. A lot of games that people like me who just got back in Nintendo after a long time, or some people's their first time into Nintendo, that games that they have not played, classics. And Luigi's Mansion 1 is a good example of that. It's a game we should really play, especially because 3 was so good, came out on the Switch in 2019. 1 was so long ago. And it would make sense, you would think, that they'd bring 1 to Switch first before 2. Would you not think that? I mean, with Metroid, you know, they brought
we got 1.
We got 1. It's not the first game.
Very odd.
It's not the first game in the series, right? There's because you get the 2D
in the Prime series, it is.
Right.
Metroid Prime 1.
Right. In all Metroid, it's not the first game, but in the Prime series, yes, it is the first one. And with at that time when it came out, the looming Prime 4, it made a lot of sense. This seems like they went into their bag and they put their little hands in. They're like, what game should we port next? Whoop, Thousand Year Door. Okay, what's next? Whoop, Luigi's Mansions 2? That's weird, but we're doing that because that's what came out of the hat.
Thousand Year Door makes sense. That makes sense, at least.
I know.
Everybody wanted that one. That was one people asked for. Luigi's Mansion 2 is like...
I agree, Drip, but here's the thing. Even the fans of the series would say, that's an obscure one to port. You'd think they put other ones first. You'd think they'd remaster 64 first before they'd master that one. So even still...
That's the one I always hear.
While it's not a bad game, I'm not saying it's a bad game to port. I'm saying it's a little odd that they put that one out before 64. And this one, they put the 2 out before they put the 1. Hey, Nintendo, 1 comes before 2.
Wait, is Mario Party 64 on the online? Is it for the online games? It is?
Yeah.
See, you got it already. That's why.
Mario Party 64. I'm talking about...
I'm sorry. Mario, help me out here.
Paper Mario.
Paper Mario 64.
Yeah.
Is that on there?
Yes, it's on there. But that doesn't count. It's not
good. It's fine.
We're talking about porting games. Nintendo's like, here's our bag, and these are the games we're going to port to the Switch. Remaster port. That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. That's how I think. What do you guys think?
I mean, the 2 is weird.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
Yeah,
it's very strange that they wouldn't just go back to the first one, or like Cheezy said, like just do them both. You're doing 1. Like, what's the big deal to just go back and get the other one and do them both? I mean, how much did it cost? 2.
$60
on the Switch. It was 60.
Yeah, it was
That's
60.
Why. Never mind. I know why. That's why. Oh, we're getting 1. Don't you worry. We're gonna get it on the Switch too, and it won't be $60. It'll be 70. Don't you worry. It's gonna be. It'll be full HD though. It'll be a full remake. $70. That's why. I answered the question. There you go.
And again, I like 3. I don't love it, but I like it. And I've heard a lot of people say that 1 is the best. And I played a few minutes of 1 with emulation. But but didn't play a ton of it because I would like to. I'd rather play it on Switch. Nintendo, please give me an option to pay for it, and that's what I was kind of look forward to. Playing it on Switch, but obviously that seems like it's not going to happen now because they brought 2 first, and I don't know. I want to play 1, and I think that would have been a nice way for me to play the series is on the Switch and giving them money instead of having to find other means to play it. It just seems kind of silly. They could have did a double pack.
Yeah, at this point, they're not going to go backwards.
$100 double pack,
I don't think they're going to go backwards on the same system. Like, oh, you got 2, and then like whatever, then go back to 1. I mean, I guarantee it. You're going to get a full remake, $70, and it'll be like next year.
Yeah. Well, as we know,
September.
Guys, there's been a ton of GameCube games getting ported over the Switch. And before we talk about that, I just want to say once again, Cheezy, you're a guest on our show. You're on multiple podcasts. You're on the Communication Era podcast, a gaming podcast. You're on the Nintendo Powercast, a Nintendo podcast. So if you guys have not, this episode is sponsored by Cheezy. No, but if you guys want to just make sure midway through here, just want to make sure you guys know to go follow Cheezy. The links are in the description down below. We'll give you one more shout out by the end of the show, but I just want to do that mid-show as well, just to remind people
thank you.
Where Cheezy comes from.
And I want to remind you of something, Geeb.
Oh boy, what?
You forgot something.
We just had a communication error.
I was just gonna say, I'll take the blame. I'm from communication error. This is bound to happen, and when it does happen, it's like someone said the secret word,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were good. I think we're okay to start. So 3, 2, 1. All right, so we left on a cliffhanger, Drip. What was that cliffhanger? I don't remember.
You forgot one important thing, Geeb.
Oh, yeah.
One very important thing. At the beginning of the show, you were supposed to do something that we do every single show, and you just flew right past it. You didn't do it. I knew it was happening. It was too late at that point. You had already started conversation. I didn't want to interrupt you, but we don't have a sponsor.
That's correct.
In today's podcast, so we are going to be the sponsor. And what we are doing for you, the listeners, is we're actually giving away a $50 eShop gift card. And to win that $50 eShop gift card, all you have to do is go to Apple Podcasts and leave a 5-star review on our podcast. It's very simple to do. You just go in, you can type whatever you want. You don't even have to be nice. As long as it's a 5-star review, you're entered to win. And if you don't win this time, you're entered to win for the next one. We're probably gonna give this thing away when Geeb is here in what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
That'll be 3 weeks.
Yeah, we'll be announcing the winner at that time. So you need to hurry up and do it. And if you've already done it, that's great. You should go make another account with a new email and do it again. Increase your chances. The 5-star reviews do help us a ton. So
yes, they do.
We do want those. And right now, Geeb is going to go ahead and read one of those 5-star reviews on the air live.
That's correct. This review comes from a user called A Starcher.
I know who that is. I know that person. I know him.
This is my favorite podcast ever. I see they get their spelling and punctuation from their father. Favorite podcast ever. Right. It is super awesome sauce.
We don't fucking spell in this house. Get out of here.
So
spelling.
A Starcher, thank you for the review of the Drip Deep podcast. You are technically entered to win the $50 eShop gift card.
Yeah.
Although Drip's daughter wins, that is I will even say this rigged.
Okay, listen, and we can't. It has to be random because she's in it. It has to be completely random because I don't want people thinking I'm picking her. But she doesn't even want a gift card. I told her if she actually wins, I was gonna have to just give her $50 instead of a gift. She doesn't even play Switch. She doesn't give a shit about that. She's like, well, if I win, what do I? Can I get the? I mean, I guess. I was like, just go leave a review, please.
If it's her favorite podcast, then it's also her favorite.
Oh yeah, because she's listened so many times.
Yeah, of course, man. It's a favorite podcast.
Yeah, every episode. She's probably listening right now. I'm sure she is.
Oh, you know it. So thank you, A Starcher, for leaving your review. You were entered to win a $50 eShop gift card in 3 weeks. And we have another review for next week already, so I'm excited to read that one. We'll do that next week. And before we keep moving on, I want to remind the people who are remaining in stream, because again, sorry guys, we had technical difficulties. My computer pooped, so I restarted it. If you're coming back in stream, thank you. Please leave a like on this one as well if you haven't done so already. Just helps with the YouTube algorithms. So yes, I can't wait to edit this together with 2 different things. It'll be great. But that's my problem, not yours. Speaking of my problem, I want GameCube games on the Nintendo Switch, and we have a lot of them. But that's the thing. That's the thing, guys. While there are a lot of games on there, I would like more, but I feel like Nintendo is going to be less inclined to put GameCube on. They're going to be less inclined to put the GameCube NSO. GameCube NSO on Switch. They're not going to do that because they're making so much freaking money posting games like the games like that's Luigi's Mansions too. 1,000 Year Door, GameCube port, Metroid Prime Remastered. They're posting those games for a lot of money, so it makes me think that they're not going to be putting the system on Nintendo Switch Online. However, Drip.
Or are they? Or
are they?
Or are they?
That's right.
Because we have leaks now that are saying that they are making a GameCube controller. Nintendo is making a GameCube controller. This is not a third-party thing. This looks to be some of the same type of parts, the same type of things. We know it's wireless for sure. It looks like this is going to be the same thing we saw with the 64 controller.
Yeah.
For the online stuff, the Super Nintendo controllers, the regular NES controllers. Why didn't they make any of the other ones go on the side of the Switch, though? Why is it just the NES ones? Wouldn't it be cool if, like, the 64 controllers
just like the prongs out on the side? Yeah.
Drip, it would be cool. And actually, there's companies who thought that that'd be a good idea and actually did it, like Nixie and Binbuck, who sponsor this podcast, if you forgot already, Drip.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the 64 controller, not the...
the 64 controller. Wait,
yeah, just two 64 controllers on the side.
Right.
Just completely.
Well, that'd be kind of weird, though, because it's like...
It would be terrible, but it would look great.
Where would the stick go?
On out, just straight out.
How about like two halves?
Connect on the tops.
Two halves of the stick.
Connected on the tops.
It's a half stick on both sides. You have to figure it out.
And you can see inside of it.
Yeah.
It's just open plastic hanging off the... I like
solid
that,
in the middle. No, but we're actually going to read... Drip sent me something to read out in the show, so I'm going to read this right here, right now. It says, a user on Femiboards, Luigi Blood, posted some customs shipping data. And this was discovered to be possible reference to a GameCube controller with a similar code name and its parts to a previous Nintendo Switch Online controller. Another user, LIC, backed this up, but both users still have reservations about what this means. Even though this is coming from a public shipping data, kudos to those willing to take the time to do it, I still put the flare as rumor, since nothing is confirmed till officially announced, or more specifically, a leak of what this means. You have to be registered. Okay, yeah. So that is the thing that Drip had me read. There, I read it.
Good job. You did great reading it too.
I didn't do that bad. I only messed up.
You did wonderful.
Yeah.
So I here's what I think we got from this. Clearly, we know 100%. I mean, these parts. Okay, yeah, and seriously, it says kudos to these people going through these manifests, looking at these, that's nuts to do. That is crazy. That is some serious detective work. But this is real. These parts, I mean, they're saying that some of them are clearly parts for GameCube controllers. Not going to be anything else. We know that's happening. The big question is it because they're just putting a bunch of games on the Switch that are GameCube games, or are we actually getting GameCube on Nintendo Switch Online?
Cheezy, what do you think?
Yeah, the way that I see it right now is kind of what you're saying is they are making money off of these ports and remakes. I don't know how much money, but it seems like it's doing okay. I think that they release the games first. Say they remake Wind Waker, and then maybe 6 months from then, it will be on the GameCube app. The same way that they did the 3D All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
They had Mario 64. They also had... Well, I guess Mario 64 is the only example in this, but Mario 64 came out, and then it came out onto the N64 app.
A weird thing about that, though, is they took it away from us.
Yeah.
They told us we weren't allowed to buy it anymore because it was on the All-Stars thing. The All-Stars thing was a limited time thing, and then they just took it away, which is weird. I mean, I guess that's kind of a thing in that, but I think you may be right about some of that stuff. I don't know. It's just they do so many different things. It's so hard to even figure out where their head's at, because they never do the same thing with, we're like, oh, well, they did this with that, so then they'll keep going.
Well, it's just weird too, because like, haven't they said, or the rumor is right now, that we'll be able to carry our Nintendo profile onto Switch too?
Yeah.
So like, GameCube probably isn't coming out on the Switch, but it definitely, I think we're gonna get what we had with Virtual Console at some point, right? They're making money having people subscribe to their platform versus just having all the games available all at once.
When I wonder what the difference in the money they're making, like, let's say, because they are making money off of the online service, clearly, or they wouldn't be doing it. That's the whole point. And I think we talked about, when was it? Last week, a couple weeks ago. The thing about the difference between Nintendo doing what they're doing with their online service and like Xbox Game Pass, Nintendo's just making money. They don't have to pay anybody to have other games on their server. Maybe, Sega. That's it. But they're not bringing games in and paying these publishers like Game Pass does. How Microsoft is paying things out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They only have their games. They've got to be making some pretty good money there. But my question is, do you think they're making more money on that than they are on the GameCube remakes that they're doing on the Switch right now? Which one do you think is making them more money?
NSO.
I agree, honestly. I think it is.
Because like, how much did Thousand Year Door sell? We don't know yet, but like, have there been any
I'm pretty sure it's looking like it's going to outsell Origami King.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't really.
That's different. That one sold really well, I'm pretty sure.
I didn't really think of it in that perspective of like, what's making them more money, NSO or the games? And my immediate thought would be the reported games, because that was my immediate thought, was the games would be. But then the kind of thinking about it, you guys making me think about it, like, yeah, I think you're right. Like, NSO they got to do next to nothing for that. There's not a remaster, not a port. It's just emulation on a service that they just upload a file that's pretty small anyway. And like, they're just gonna make sure I'm sure there's certain compatibility issues with emulators and stuff like that. But besides that, it's very easy. And these ports and remasters, while sometimes don't look that grand, do take a lot of work to put out there. I mean, I think Metroid Prime Remaster is the best example of that.
They did a lot to that, and they sold it for $40.
Making no sense. But
that's crazy.
Making
crazy.
No sense.
That's the one I don't get, because the rest of them are 60, right? What was Thousand Year Door was 60, right?
Yeah,
Thousand Year Door was 60. Luigi's Mansion was 60. Yeah. Like, that is crazy, because Metroid looks so good,
like miles better.
I think I talked about this with you guys on your show, the Communication Era podcast. Right, Cheezy? Yeah. We talked about that very thing.
When I wasn't there.
Yeah, you were disinvited. You disinvited yourself.
I did disinvite myself. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But yeah, so I think they make a lot more money with the NSO. As much as I think they do make a lot of money from the ports, I still think they make more money with NSO. Didn't think about it like that. But here's the thing, guys. I think this is a big setup. They are preparing. This is not happening now. This is a setup. They're setting it up for either 2025 or maybe even 2026, but I feel like it's definitely 2025. At some point during 2025, during one of the first Switch 2 Directs, they're going to drop some nuggets on us. And, of course, one of those nuggets, I believe, is going to be GameCube Online. GameCube for Nintendo Switch Online.
Well, there's also one other thing I wanted to add.
With that, they are adding a price increase as well. You can guarantee,
or a different tier, or a totally different tier,
either one or both, or both.
Okay, it's coming at some point, because this goes right with some stuff, and I forgot to tell you about this earlier. This goes right with another leak that happened. I don't know, what was it, 6-7 months ago, where all this stuff popped up, and it's like GameCube controller icons that look exactly like the 64 ones and exactly like all the other stuff. Whenever you connect one of these things to your Switch and you have that little icon to say, oh, you have a 64 controller connect. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All those for the GameCube controllers those have been found. Those are a thing. They're real. So, I mean, this all goes, it's coming. It's definitely, anybody who thinks that it's not, like, I've seen some people say, like, oh, they can't do GameCube because the games are too big. I mean, they're like a gig. They're not that big. Get a fucking memory card. Come on. If you can totally put those things on there.
Yeah,
but
they're
it's
not
happening.
Big. They're not big.
And I think you're right. It's not happening this year.
Maybe they're maybe they're hundreds of megabytes, maybe. Which is big, which is bigger than all the other stuff on NSO, that's for sure. But I'm
pretty sure they're around a gig. Big. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, right. Hundreds of megabytes. They rarely go over a gig. And even still, they can make a 10 gigabyte app on Switch Online, and that's for GameCube. And that's 10 gigabytes really isn't much. That's a third of the original Switch's storage. That's really not that much.
Side note, I just want to say I think it is really cool that Nintendo has that feature where it shows what controller is plugged in, and it's not just a generic like, oh yep, this is your Pro controller. It's the designed Pro controller that you have. Like if it's an official Nintendo product, it's like, oh yeah, this is the red Joy-Con, this is the pink one, this is the Splatoon 3 Pro controller. Like that's awesome. I love that they do that little detail.
Really quick too, before we go too much further, the size of the GameCube discs only held 1.46 gigabytes, so nothing was bigger than that.
There you go.
I think if GameCube is coming, the first game that they announce, and they have a GameCube controller, they have online, it's going to be Melee.
Oh yeah, Smash, yes.
And it's a way for Nintendo to actually like approve tournaments. It's to bring the community in, although I don't know if Nintendo, like if they would forgive Nintendo
after all this. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but at least I guess it's better than nothing, right? So
yeah, but
I think that's going to be the big one.
Here's the thing: we're gonna need a lot of things to happen with Nintendo before we get to that point, because holy crap! I mean, have you guys tried playing multiplayer Switch Online with one person in your party that has a bad connection?
It's terrible.
Oh yeah,
it ruins it for everybody. The way that they're emulating pairing with the online connection. If one person has a bad connection, everybody has a bad connection, and it's a terrible experience. So if we want Melee, which is a fighting game that requires precision and timing, you absolutely need to fix the damn servers, Nintendo. Drip and I have done a podcast on it recently. They have to fix this infrastructure on online if they're going to, number one, raise the price, number two, add GameCube with Melee, and number three, expect people to pay these prices and really be excited over everything.
Dude, the Smash Brothers thing really makes me think too. Like that's a perfect setup too to have their own GameCube controller when they put out the next Smash too.
Well, and think about it, we don't have Smash on 64 yet, and they could do that with online.
Yeah, they could.
With the next system and the upgraded infrastructure, maybe.
Because they're supposedly upgrading all this stuff for the next system. We will see.
We will see.
That. But
I remain skeptical.
Maybe that's what they're waiting on the rest of this stuff. Because I mean, even just download. We talked about the bottleneck of the Wi-Fi in the Switch. That was when I did a science class on Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go back and check that one out.
Professor Drip.
That was awesome. But it can only do so much. Like even if you fix the infrastructure, the Switch itself right now can only do so much because of the specific Wi-Fi chip it has in it. It's not capable of doing amazing things. I mean, you can have the best internet ever. I've got pretty damn good internet, but I mean, downloading a game on my Switch is like, I mean, I grow a fucking beard in the time that it takes to download a game, like a game.
Yeah. And I think also what's notable too, because I just went through it. You really got to baby the Switch with something's downloading that's big. I don't know if there's a setting that I haven't turned on. I need to figure it out. But if the Switch goes to sleep on me, the game just is like, nah, we're not going to download.
It's a setting, I think.
I got to look at it. I swear I have it set the right way, and I feel like it still is messing up. And I got to sit here and baby it, come wiggle a Joy-Con every time the screen goes dark, or come turn it back on after it turns off. It drives me insane. Like Steam Deck, it just does it. I can leave it in. Actually, to a fault, it does it, because one time I left it in its case while it was downloading a game, and that shit is hot. And it got real hot inside that case while I was just downloading a game. So that was actually a problem I found. Another reason why I think Nintendo kind of nerfs the downloads as well is for power consumption, battery consumption, and heat.
For sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't matter. Even if you pumped it up, it can't do it. It can't.
Right. Well, they nerfed it. Right.
The biggest thing that we need to see with Switch 2 in their advertising is better online. And it was exciting to see it with their first Switch because they showed Splatoon 2, but they showed like teams that were coming up with game plans, and then they're in this like arena basically for esports. So I think that was like they were kind of wanting that, but it's just not there. It's all peer to peer.
Unrelated, but a really good question because I know Cheezy's a Splatoon fan, and I had experience with Splatoon 3 online. Joey Pitts asks, how does Splatoon 3 do online? That game is decent online.
Yeah, it's gotten better since the release. Like, they definitely have worked on it, but you still have people that are dropping out or communication errors or whatever. So,
Cheesy, I did a 12-hour stream of Splatoon back in 2022, like a month if that after the game released.
Yep.
And I gotta say, it was pretty good. Like, it didn't make me want to stop. You know, it wasn't getting to the point where I wanted to stop and get frustrated. But I gotta go back and watch some of that if I can remember exactly. But I do.
We got disconnected a good bit.
The point is, we got disconnected probably 2 or 3 times an hour. It was maybe more. It was pretty frustrating at times.
I really don't understand how do they get Mario Kart to just work? How does it just work? But like everything else just doesn't.
Well, like the best game so far that has worked so well is Mario Party Superstars.
I've never had a problem with that either. And what else? And like I said, Monster Hunter Rise, for some reason, it's amazing online. It's crazy.
One of the games I think has one of the bigger problems, and I'm only really speaking from my experience because I know a lot of people don't have the same experience I have with that game, but I've streamed a good bit of Super Smash Ultimate as well on Switch. And, you know, I had weird problems. Like, I wasn't allowed to be in the lobby. You guys know in the game where you can sit in the stands and watch people play, like in the waiting room, so to speak.
Yeah.
Without fail, every single time that I had as the streamer, I was trying to be nice and let I didn't want to play every single round. I want to get more people playing. So, and they had a feature. So I was like, okay, I'll sit in the bench. You guys play and we'll watch it on stream together while you guys play. Then I'll get in the next round. Every single time I sat in the stands, we got disconnected. And it was like the same time, like 3, 2, 1, fight.
I do remember that.
Smash. 2 seconds later, cut. It was like clockwork. And like you could just expect it. Exactly the same point. It was like it was coded to break at that time. Like that's how it felt. So I don't know, bringing that up just because we're talking about Switch Online infrastructure, and it just reminds me of how bad this service is. Drip and I are big, supporters of Nintendo Switch Online. We think it's the best deal in gaming. We think it's a great deal. But that is the worst. The worst part about Switch Online is Switch Online. The online gaming is horrendous. Overall, when you look at it from every game, good to bad, overall, the consensus is it's horrible. So please fix it. Yes, Jeff, I'm trauma dumping on you. That's exactly what I'm doing. It pissed me off.
Man, listen, let it go. Just let it all out.
We would just sit there on the stream. Yeah, the other 4 people were fighting, and then it's like, oh, sorry, stream. Now we're just gonna like.
Yeah, I was involved in a lot of those. I remember.
The other people who were sitting on the bench. I would have them like play by play what was going on.
I used to have to do it. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, but back to the actual subjects what we're talking about. We got far off on that one. Damn. Is GameCube coming to the Switch, or is this going to be a Switch 2 thing? That's what I really want to talk about.
Man.
I already said what I said, Cheesy, while you're thinking about it. I already said that I think it's a Switch 2 thing for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think that they could do it now. They for sure could do it. Oh, I need to turn this off. They could for sure do it. That's not the question. The question is, will they do it now or wait later? I think they will. Wait till later. It just makes sense. It's setting up everything all together. The better online, the pay increase, which we know that's going to happen. Maybe even a tier increase with a new tier after N64. It'll be GameCube. Who knows? But ultimately, it seems like it's set up perfectly for the Switch 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. And I love Nintendo for doing things that are just unexpected. Like this last Direct, we're getting 3 new games with Yeah, in a Zelda game, and like we all thought that the Switch was well, I didn't, but Johnny did, and that's why he has to eat a chip.
Boom, 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 boom.
But Switch 2, I mean, I think that's going to be GameCube. I think that is where we would get Melee, especially not knowing if Sakurai is even working on a Smash game, if he's working on a different game. But they want to keep that Smash IP alive. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I agree. You know, that just made me think of something else too. What if just I'm taking an idea of Geeb's and I'm going to run with this for a second. GameCube, Switch 2. I'm with you guys. I'm going to go into more detail on that in a second. But there's other systems too. Those ones are a little bit weird. They're a little weird because they've got 2 screens. But Geeb has always had this idea for the Switch 2 that it's going to be able to be played on the TV and in the handheld at the same time, kind of like the Wii U was. So what if they bring DS and 3DS games to the Switch 2 as well, but do it with that? What if they have that feature? What if that's why we haven't got that yet too?
What if that's the new tier? Is next tier
those
adding GameCube games and DS games?
But it's not whatever $50. It's $70. Whatever.
Yeah, included with everything else.
Yeah, that's just an idea, but
it's not bad.
I mean, I think that's it makes sense. But I mean,
it's too much. It's too much. There's no way.
That's all based on the fact that Geeb is right, and you can actually play the new Switch and use the TV. Suppose you have 2 screens.
You know what? I love it. Like, I think that would be so great of Nintendo to have that kind of redemption story.
Yeah,
or like the Wii,
it'd be great.
Or the Wii U. People didn't like it. It didn't sell well. Whatever. The marketing was bad. Then you had the Switch, which was like, okay, well, the Wii U failed, and this is what we were trying to do in the first place. But if you notice, like when they announced the Switch or their investor meeting back in 2017, their like the January investor meeting, they mentioned all the consoles and said like, oh, this is why it's like the Super Nintendo. This is why it's like the N64. This is why it's like the GameCube. This is why it's like the Wii. Skipped over the Wii U. So how cool would it be of them to like give the Wii U some recognition and actually say thank you to the Wii U, because this is the success that we have gotten.
And that would be, it fits so perfectly because, you know, we don't see Nintendo do it's just a 2. They never do it. It's always something different.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
That would be the thing that makes this different, because this is the new way to switch. The new way to switch. It's got another way to switch. You know, it's got tabletop mode, handheld mode, docked mode, but then you have dual screen mode as well. A new way to switch.
Dang.
It adds to everything. It makes sense. I love the idea. There's a whole big thing he's got with all this, but it's great ideas. Here's what I think's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. Usually they would tell us something about Nintendo Switch online stuff at the September Direct. There's a big problem. Do you know what that problem is? There's not going to be a September Direct this year. It's not going to be one, because that's when they're going to tell us about the Switch 2. That's when they're going to show us what it is. And it's going to be released on March 10th next year. And then we'll get a Direct.
I disagree with you, man. Disagree with you. I think we're getting a Nintendo Direct. We got to learn more about like Mario Party. We got to learn more about Brothership. Like, those aren't just going to be tweets.
They might be.
They go cheesy. Cheesy.
They might be. I don't know.
What about Zelda? Because that comes out the 26th
of
I mean, they're going to throw trailers up. They're going to throw trailers up.
Of August,
of September.
Right? Is it September?
September.
Oh, that's a good point. That's actually that. See, like, I was gonna be hateful and be like, it's just Mario Party, it's just Mario Brothership. Like, you know, those don't need a Direct, but we already seen them. Blah. But I mean,
Switch 2.
But I mean,
announcement.
But drip Zelda. It's Zelda.
September.
It's the first 2D Zelda in 11 years.
The Super Nintendo
9
Switch.
Years? It's the first Zelda game, a 2D Zelda game in a decade, and you're telling me they're going to completely just not do another Direct?
It's the first Zelda game ever. She's not getting a spotlight.
Yeah, dude, I'm torn.
Yeah, and it's gonna be.
I'm torn
on the Switch too.
I was all about with drip for a with there, but until I realized what Cheezy said,
it's still happening. It's still happening.
I'm literally in between you two right now, and I am literally torn between the Cheezy's idea and Drip's idea. Like, they have to have a direct for Zelda again.
I don't know,
unless they tweet out a treehouse, and there's no direct, but there is a big spotlight.
Which they did just do that. So it's not like a crazy thing. They just
for Zelda
put up a no. They just put up a treehouse. They didn't do it. They just tweeted like, "Hey."
So that's the one thing that could make Cheezy's to make Drip right and Cheesy wrong is that they really could just do a treehouse for Zelda specifically. And listen, Mario Party could get a treehouse too, but come on, Cheesy. I mean, it's Mario Party.
All right,
the same damn game for 20 years.
the Switch had a first look back in October 2016. Mm-hmm. Couldn't they just do something like that? And that's kind of how we got a tease at Super Mario Odyssey. It's how we got a tease at Splatoon 2. It's how we got a tease of Breath of the Wild. Well, like we got to see more of it, I guess. So they could put out a video and then get everybody hyped. And then the September Direct is them talking more about the games and more of the system.
All right, I'll give you that. But let me ask you this. Even if there is a September Direct, they're not talking about Switch Online and a new system right then, are they? In September. That's when they do it though, because that's when they started all the subscriptions really. So they always do it in September because it's always like, oh, look at this. I mean, they've done it other times. Most of the time it's September because that's when they want people to re-up.
Well, when was the first time that they announced the NSO? Like that we were gonna have to pay for Nintendo Online.
Man, I just did a video on all the directs, and I could have told you like a week ago.
I think it was
all
2018.
that's left my brain. Yeah, it was in like a February direct or something like that, and then it went into they implemented it around that September.
Hey, I'm sorry, I interrupted. I'm thinking about a lot of things right now, but I also just saw this comment, and I feel like we're due for another chip bet. Or something equivalent.
Yeah, I almost said that, but I'm not doing that. Sorry.
It doesn't have to be a chip. I know you guys have done it. You hate it. You don't have to do it again. But you guys should bet something.
On a direct? Just a direct?
Not Triple G Podcast and Communication. Drip and Cheesy.
Man. I don't know if I'm kind of scared.
We need a bet. Here's a good thing I think you guys could do. One person gets to write a tweet and post it from the other person's account. Whoever's right. Who's
going to see it? 5 people on my Twitter?
Okay. Yeah, we could think of something. What would the bet be, though?
What's a September Direct or no September Direct?
Okay, so is that it? Because I'm still gonna just say no. I'll go along with that. We can figure out what the parameters of the bet are. I'll go along with that. No September Direct.
Isn't PAX in Australia this year?
I have no idea.
Sure. Like, there is a September. I don't know, but are we gonna get Nintendo Live again?
Maybe. I don't know because
they probably would have had to like plan for that already, right? Because it's just 2 months away now.
Yeah, that's true. So now I don't know. There's too much going on. They got too much stuff going on. They're about to have a new system because it's coming out. I can tell you that for sure. It's coming out on March 10th on Mario Day, on my birthday. It's happening. They've been slowly building Mario Day up for the Switch 2 release. Mario Day. Drops with a new 3D Mario. Done.
Okay, we'll figure out what it is, but I think we're getting a September Direct.
Yeah, I think we are now too, because where are they going to announce that new 3D Mario? It's going to be there. Shit.
Even if they don't show Switch 2, if they do show it on Mario Day, like that's cool. But I still think we get a September Direct. I would love to see more on Metroid, even though they just said 2025. Like, that could be another place that we see it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean...
Also, Splatoon has had some kind of announcement in every Direct, except for this last one. But we are going to be coming up on the Final Fest, which was September when the game released, Splatoon 3, back in 2022.
Oh.
Yep.
All right, never mind. This bet sucks.
I don't know. Maybe you're right.
I was all on board with the no Direct, but no, honestly, now that I'm thinking about the way
I'm still torn. I'm still torn between the two of you. There's a lot of reasons why they could do it in September, and there's a ton of reasons why they won't do it in September.
Well, I like Direct in September now. just to give the information, whatever.
Yeah.
Let Zelda come out, and then after it's out, wait till the October sometime, and then do the Switch 2 thing, and then it just follows what the Switch did.
If it's not September, I don't think they're going to do it in 2023. Sorry, excuse me, what year is it? I don't think they're going to do it in. I don't think they're going to do it in 2024 because they're not going to do that. Listen, Drip, but hold on, they're not going to do that in October of 2024 when December of 2024 is Christmas time, and they're basically telling everyone you don't need to buy a Nintendo Switch for Christmas this year. They're not going to do that because they want the Christmas sale. So if it's not September, it's not 2024. It's January, February 2025. And then that sets up a summer release for Switch 2. I think it's the most likely scenario at this point.
I don't know if Splatoon is going to do another Final Fest. They did it for the last one, which is what set up Splatoon 3. Like the end results of that Splatfest is what made Splatoon 3. I'm assuming they're going to do the same thing. We're doing Summer Nights, which is this weekend. That's something new, a new summer Splatfest we've never had before. And again, like they're coming up on their 2-year anniversary. So I think they'll be doing something big. Maybe that's just a Twitter post, or that is something that they have in Nintendo Direct, because the people in Japan love Splatoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we've run the course of the show. That actually went a little bit long because we had that delay, and then because of the error that we had, the communication error, if you will, and all that. So only fitting that we had a communication error when we have one half of the communication error podcast with us today. So I think we are going to sign off for now. And Drip, do you want to just cut it and not do a after show either, because we are getting like late in general in the stream. It's already been an hour and 40 minutes of streaming anyway.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm actually trying to go to bed.
All this weirdness we had tonight, I need to get this uploaded, and I have to do a little bit of editing to it now, more than I usually do because of all the issues. So we are going to sign off for now, but before we go, guys, Cheezy, where can the people find you? And that's totally not a rip from what you guys do. I didn't just take that.
Well, no, I really appreciate that you guys had me on. It's been really great to like get to meet you guys through Johnny. So I guess if I have to give him some credit or a shout out,
you don't have to give him any credit.
He needs nothing.
Okay, no,
he needs nothing.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So it's been great to meet you guys and like get to know who you are.
Same.
Yeah, man. Likewise.
Nice. Well, you can find me on Communication Error Podcast. It's a gaming debate podcast that I do with John Ebo, where we may not always agree on the topic at hand, but if we listen to what one another has to say, maybe we'll be able to fix our communication error. I'm also a guest on Nintendo Powercast. It's a pretty big podcast with N64 Josh, Crawler, and John Ebo. I have to do 2 shows with him. It's a nightmare. But you can also find me individually on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, CheezyC64, CheezyC64.
Awesome, and I'd like to add to that, Cheezy, you're invited. Of course, you're never obligated, but you're invited this Friday. I believe Johnny's down as well. But this Friday, Drip, Johnny, and I, and hopefully Cheezy, if he can make it, are going to be playing Switch Sports basketball. So that's going to be a ton of fun if we get everybody in there playing some basketball and shut Johnny up. I'll just team. Cheezy, I like you, but I don't like him. So can we be partners? And like the people we hate, can we be like the good guys versus the bad guys? Like, can we do that?
So now I'm the fucking bad guy. I'm the bad guy, huh? All right, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, it's just the villain
kind of funny
here,
though, and I don't know if it's just because you both are from Philly, but I do associate Geeb and John Ebo as like the same. And Drip and I are the opposite.
White guys a little bit pudgy with beards. We all look the same.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but
might be it.
One too many cheesesteaks from him and I.
There it is.
But yeah, no. So guys, make sure to follow Cheezy. We're so glad he was able to come on tonight, and hopefully have him back at some point. Drip and I we're doing good with guests this year, man. We that's one thing that we had coming into this year. We were like, we want to get more guests on the show and be guests more often. So we're accomplishing that this year. So I'm so happy that we're able to do that. Hey, Drip, where people find you?
YouTube.com/DripMediaGaming. All the other places don't matter.
And I stream on Twitch a couple times a week. So make sure to hop over there. We're having a lot of fun again this Friday. Should be a ton of fun. I make videos. At least I did. I haven't made a single one in 2024, but who knows? maybe that time's coming soon. I don't know. So yeah, guys, we're going to wrap up for now and stream as well, including the audio people, because we've gone a little bit long tonight. So we're going to wrap up for now, and we are going to see you guys next week.
Later.